Okay, I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce are master manipulators of the media. And I also think, yeah. And I think that they are to the point, they will manipulate almost anything. Like, I think it's bad karma to lie about the state of your marriage. Jay-Z is accepted by white America because he shakes hands and kisses babies. No disrespect, because I'm a fan. But nobody brings up the fact that he stabbed somebody and sold drugs. He gets a pass. Okay, I remember when he stabbed.
This got serious fast. Back in the 90s, Jay-Z and Nas were locked in one of the most intense rap battles the culture had ever seen. Diss tracks were flying, interviews were tense, and every lyric felt like a warning shot. Fans were glued to every move, picking sides like it was a championship fight. And the fan wars? Pure chaos. But Wendy Williams flipped the whole story upside down. She claimed this wasn't just about music or ego at all. According to her, this drama started over a woman, and not just any woman. It was allegedly Nas' baby mother, and the rumor was that Jay-Z got involved with her and even got her pregnant just to get under Nas' skin. That accusation hit hard. Wendy dug up what many call one of the ugliest feuds in rap history. And now people are whispering that the past is circling back around to the Carters. People forget Jay had a whole chapter of life before Beyonce ever entered the picture.
People in New York City chose me, and Jay caught an attitude and started crying about it. And now they coming at your boy like, yo, Nas, you gotta be easy, because Def Jam paying them to do this, do that. Yeah. Nah, yo, I'm a rebel. I'm for the people, man. I ain't with all of that. You ain't got Donnie Ina, who's my man, paying nobody to protect me. I deal with my consequences like a straight warrior and a trooper to the death.
How could you sleep with Nas's enemy? And the truth is, you have to ask yourself, when were Jay-Z and Nas ever enemies? Like, when were they nemesis, you know? The truth is, the dispute between these two individuals is a result of my affair with Jay-Z.
Before the power couple headlines and red carpet moments, there were stories, rumors, and complicated relationships. Reports have floated around for years claiming Jay-Z had multiple children with different women before he got married. Those claims have never fully disappeared, and they keep popping back up whenever old drama resurfaces. One name that keeps coming up is Carmen Bryan. She's not a superstar celebrity, but in this story, she played a major role. Carmen is the mother of Nas's first child, Destiny. She met Nas when he was grinding hard, still working on his debut album and building his name from the ground up. At the time, she was working as a receptionist at Def Jam and later at Capitol Records. That's how she crossed paths with Nas. And eventually Jay-Z too. While Carmen and Nas were expecting their daughter, Nas dropped his first album. That project changed everything. Overnight, he went from being a hungry underground artist to one of the most respected and in-demand rappers in the game. Suddenly, everybody wanted a feature, a verse, or just to be in the same room with him. And yes, that included Jay-Z. Jay reportedly wanted Nas to jump on the track Bring It On for his debut album Reasonable Doubt. It could have been a legendary moment, but Nas didn't show up to the studio session. No explanation, no apology, nothing. That move didn't sit right with Jay at all. Some say that's when the tension really started building behind the scenes. Nas may not have realized it at the time, but Jay wasn't the type to just brush something off. Instead of confronting it head-on, he allegedly made a different kind of move. One that hit way closer to home. That's when he started showing interest in Carmen. At that point, Carmen didn't even know how deep the rivalry between the two rappers was getting. From her perspective, she saw attention from Jay while her relationship with Nas was already shaky. She later admitted, he was cheating, I was cheating. Things were messy on both sides. Emotions were high, trust was low, and boundaries were blurred. But she also said something that made the situation explode even more. The problem was who I was cheating with. Had I been cheating with some nobody, that may not have been a problem, but I was cheating with individuals that were in the same genre of music. That wasn't just personal drama, that was professional rivalry mixed with real-life relationships. Once Nas found out, everything spiraled. What was already tension between two rap heavyweights now felt personal. Then Jay took it to the booth. On his track Takeover, he threw lines that many believe referenced the situation. After that, it wasn't just competition anymore. It was war in lyrics, pride, and reputation. When Jay-Z dropped Takeover, Nas was ready to fire back immediately. He wanted Carmen close by his side, almost like proof that Jay didn't really win anything. In his mind, if Carmen was still supporting him, then Jay had no real claim.
At one point, you were pregnant by Jay? Yes, I had a miscarriage.
Okay, this was before the whole
This is
takeover.
this was like
Okay.
before all of that.
How far along were you?
I believe I was definitely less than 3 months. It was the first trimester. It wasn't.
It was still early.
Exactly. Yeah, it wasn't anything
Okay.
crazy. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna have this baby and, move forward with our relationship. No.
Okay. When you told Jay that you were pregnant, what was his reaction?
I told him after the fact.
Oh, you told him after?
I told him
the
after
miscarriage.
the
Okay,
fact.
so he didn't even know.
No, I
Okay.
told him after the fact.
But here's where it gets complicated. Carmen was pregnant with Jay-Z's child at the time and caught right in the middle of two powerful men battling it out. That's pressure no one signs up for. After she suffered a miscarriage, Carmen later realized something that changed everything for her. She started to feel like Jay's interest wasn't fully about love. It seemed tied to the rivalry, like being with her was another way to get under Naz's skin. The situation stopped feeling romantic and started looking strategic. There were also whispers that Jay wanted to create a dramatic storyline, almost echoing the chaos between Tupac and Biggie. After Tupac publicly claimed he had been involved with Faith Evans while she was married to Biggie, that feud became legendary. Some people felt Jay might have been leaning into that same kind of controversy to raise the stakes. Whether that was true or not, the parallels had people talking. Once Carmen finally cut ties with Jay for good, Nas stepped into the booth and unleashed Ether. That track was explosive. Nas accused Jay of crossing lines, even bringing up alleged ties with Foxy Brown, who had worked closely with Nas in the firm. He didn't hold back. Every bar felt personal, sharp, and direct. Ether shook the culture, and Jay responded with Super Ugly. This time, there were no subtle shots, no coded messages, just straight-up confrontation. And once again, the main point he pushed was that he had been with Carmen while she was still involved with Nas.
Right. And now that Nas took a stand, people are starting to really understand, like how it is. And I just wanted to call up and let people know that this is what I've been trying to do for years. And I've always got that reputation. But at the end of the day, we made them pay up.
Yeah.
And once I realized what Jay was doing, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna allow him to belittle Nas anymore. Like, I'm the only person on the planet that could belittle this nigga. I'm not letting anybody else have that opportunity.
According to Wendy's take, that response wasn't carefully planned. It felt emotional, almost rushed, like Jay wasn't expecting Nas to go that deep and had to react fast. The backlash was serious. Jay's own mother reportedly stepped in and told him to apologize for the harsh and disrespectful lines, especially the comments involving Carmen and her daughter Destiny. That says a lot about how far things went. Still, the tension didn't die there. On the title track of The Blueprint 2, Jay came back swinging again, doubling down and claiming he stood by what he said on Super Ugly. He painted himself as the stronger figure in the feud, making it clear he wasn't backing down. All of this was unfolding while Wendy Williams was at the height of her radio power. And anyone who listened back then knows she was fearless. On radio, she was even more outspoken than she later was on TV. She claimed to have insiders, sources, and serious information on everybody, including Jay-Z. And during that same time, while Jay was publicly building a relationship with Beyonce, there were claims that he was privately promising Carmen a future too. That overlap raised a lot of eyebrows. But according to Wendy, none of this was about love at all. It was about getting back at Nas. She even claimed that Jay allegedly pressured Carmen into ending the pregnancy, a serious accusation that added another heavy layer to the drama. That claim alone had people shocked and divided. Wendy has never hidden the fact that she's not a fan of Jay. In her view, this whole situation exposed his character. Normally, when a rap battle blows up like this, the artist who loses takes a hit in their career. But Jay, he kept rising. Wendy argued that he knew how to work the media, protect his image, and control the narrative around his brand like a strategist on a chessboard. A lot of people online have echoed similar thoughts. One person even said, all the women in this world, in all the countries, why do these guys always end up sleeping with the same women? That comment went viral because it pointed out how small and tangled the industry circle can be. Wendy suggested Jay was calculated. She believed he studied the competition closely and moved with intention. In her eyes, Carmen wasn't just caught in romance. She was caught in rivalry. Jay himself once said he targeted Nas and Prodigy because they were the strongest lyricists in New York. If that was his mindset, then getting close to someone connected to Nas might not have been random at all. Still, when Ether dropped, many fans felt Nas delivered the heavier blow. By design or not, that track became the moment people still talk about when they debate who really won that battle. Wendy kept pushing the idea that this wasn't random drama, it was strategy. She painted Jay as someone who moves 3 steps ahead, someone who doesn't just react, but calculates. In her view, every friendship, every relationship, every public move had a purpose behind it. She believed he understood that hip-hop isn't just about bars, it's about power, perception, and positioning. If you can control the story, you can control the outcome. That's why she argued his image never really took a hit, even when the battle got personal. And let's be real, the industry is small. The same names pop up in the same circles, at the same studios, at the same events. So when relationships overlap, people start asking questions fast.
So I'm reading the article, nobody else's name is brought up. Then I run across what the couple found most, oh, wait, excuse me, it's in the Inquirer. You gotta show the cover for legal reasons. And here's the article. Okay. What the couple found most difficult to deal with, says another source, was the fact that some of the rumors were being perpetuated by people they considered friends, like talk show host Wendy Williams. Well, first of all, you're not a credible source, because if you were, then you would know. I've never partied with them. I've never been to their house. I don't swim in their pool. Like, we're not friends. I'm a pop culture pundit and commentator, right? That's what you call it. Pop culture woman. And I talk about people and what they're doing when they're celebrities like you. So we're not friends, but I do like you and I respect both of their grinds, and I certainly am happy for the baby, but
Social media might not have been as loud back then, but the streets were talking, radio was talking, magazines were talking, Wendy especially was talking. She claimed Jay knew exactly how to protect his brand while letting Nas look emotional and reactive. Whether that's fair or not, that was the narrative she pushed hard. Then there's the bigger chess move. Jay openly admitted he targeted Nas and Prodigy because they were considered the sharpest lyricists in New York. That wasn't random competition. That was intentional. If you take down the strongest opponent, you take the throne. So when people connect that mindset to his personal choices, they start to see a pattern. Some fans believe everything tied back to dominance, not just in music, but in influence, not just in lyrics, but in legacy. Still, no matter how strategic someone might be, hip-hop always comes back to the music. And when Ether dropped, the culture reacted instantly. DJs ran it back. Crowds screamed the lyrics. Debates broke out everywhere. For many fans, that track shifted the energy of the whole feud. It didn't erase Jay's success, but it definitely stamped Nas's moment in history. And to this day, people still argue about it like it happened yesterday. In the end, this wasn't just a rap battle. It was a moment that shaped hip-hop history. What started as missed studio sessions and bruised egos turned into one of the most dissected rivalries the culture has ever seen. Lines were crossed, personal lives were dragged into the spotlight, and fans picked sides like it was a lifelong commitment. The music was explosive, but the backstory made it even more intense. Wendy's perspective added gasoline to an already blazing situation. She didn't just report on the drama, she framed it as a power move, a calculated climb to the top. In her version of events, nothing was accidental. Every lyric, every relationship, every public response had intention behind it. That's why her commentary stuck with people. She wasn't just talking gossip. She was questioning motives and exposing how image and influence work behind the scenes. At the same time, it's important to remember that real people were involved, real emotions, real families. When battles spill beyond the booth and into personal relationships, the impact hits differently. Careers can recover, reputations can be rebuilt, but private pain doesn't just disappear because the charts say you won. That's the part fans sometimes overlook when they replay diss tracks like they're sports highlights. As the years passed, both Jay-Z and Nas evolved. They built empires, expanded into business, and redefined what longevity looks like in hip-hop. The same two artists who once traded some of the sharpest diss records ever eventually stood on the same stage. That moment alone showed growth. Time has a way of cooling even the hottest rivalries, and maturity can rewrite narratives that once seemed permanent. Still, Takeover and Ether remain cultural checkpoints. They're studied, debated, quoted, and ranked. Some fans will always say Jay had the smarter strategy. Others will argue Nas had the sharper pen. That debate may never end, and maybe that's the beauty of it. Competition pushed them both to another level, and hip-hop benefited from the tension. As for Wendy, her bold takes became part of the story too. She represented a media era that wasn't afraid to challenge powerful figures and stir uncomfortable conversations. Whether people agreed with her or not, she made sure the public looked deeper than the surface headlines. And in a world where image is everything, asking hard questions can feel revolutionary. When you zoom out, this whole saga is a reminder of how closely art and real life can collide. Fame magnifies everything. Success, mistakes, relationships, rivalries. One decision can echo for decades. One song can define an era. And one feud can change the direction of careers forever. At the end of the day, hip-hop thrives on competition, storytelling, and passion. Jay-Z and Nas turned conflict into classic records. Fans turned it into legend. And the conversations? They're still alive, still heated, still echoing through every new rap battle that tries to measure up. That's the power of a rivalry done on a grand stage. It never really fades away.